Our story begins in the early 1960s, not with a manufacturing giant, but a small, ambitious company called Blue Ribbon Sports. Founded by Phil Knight, a University of Oregon runner and Stanford MBA graduate, and his former coach, the legendary track innovator Bill Bowerman. Knight's initial idea, born from a business school paper, was simple yet disruptive. Import high-quality, low-cost Japanese running shoes from a company called Onitsuka, later ASICS, to compete with dominant German brands like Adidas in the U.S. market. Phil Knight traveled to Japan, cold-called Onitsuka, and impressed them enough to secure distribution rights for the western United States. He partnered with Bowerman, who invested $500 for a 49% stake, bringing crucial product insight and credibility. In the beginning, Blue Ribbon Sports was literally a company selling shoes out of the back of a car at track meets across the Pacific Northwest. This grassroots distribution established trust with coaches and runners. However, the business faced a critical challenge. It was not a high gross margin business. Importing shoes from Japan was expensive, and selling them with a modest markup, while also paying commissions to sales reps like Jeff Johnson, left very little profit per pair. Funding inventory growth from these limited profits was a circular issue, with no easy solution, making rapid growth incredibly difficult. Phil Knight had to work as an accountant, and later teach accounting to make ends meet. They were constantly struggling to get financing from risk-averse local banks, which only loaned against the company's book value, assets minus liabilities, a definition of equity. Phil found maddeningly restrictive, famously stating, "Life is growth, business is growth. You grow or you die." Amidst these financial struggles, Bill Bowerman was relentlessly focused on improving shoe performance. He experimented with designs, ripping apart existing shoes and rebuilding them with unconventional materials. More significantly, his book Jogging and his evangelism of the concept helped spark the fitness movement in America in the late 1960s. This changed the definition of athlete, expanding the potential market beyond elite competitors to everyday people running for fitness. As Blue Ribbon Sports grew, fueled in part by the popularity of shoes like the Bowerman-designed Cortez, initially made by Onitsuka, their relationship with Onitsuka became strained. Onitsuka grew nervous about Blue Ribbon's success and began exploring other U.S. distributors, even attempting to buy Phil out for a paltry sum based on book value. Recognizing the need for control and better financing, Knight sought a new path. He learned about Japanese trading companies like Nisho Iwai, massive firms that could finance inventory and connect companies with manufacturers. Meeting with Nisho Iwai proved to be a turning point. They offered to finance all of Blue Ribbon's inventory needs and help them establish direct manufacturing relationships in Japan. When Phil informed Onitsuka, the Japanese company immediately pulled out, effectively ending the distribution agreement. This forced Blue Ribbon Sports to accelerate its transition. Nike Inc. was created in 1971 as a subsidiary responsible for manufacturing their own designed shoes. They needed a brand identity. Carolyn Davidson, an art student Phil hired for $2 an hour, designed a logo. After reviewing several options, Phil famously settled on one, saying, "I don't love it, but maybe it'll grow on me." This became the iconic swoosh. The name Nike came from a dream Jeff Johnson had, inspired by the Greek goddess of victory. With financing from Nisho Iwai and direct factory relationships, Nike began producing its own line, including the successful Cortez and Bowerman's revolutionary waffle trainer, inspired by a waffle iron. Alongside this, they began inventing sports marketing, pioneering athlete sponsorships with figures like Steve Prefontaine, paying them not for endorsements, initially restricted by rules, but through employment, using athletes as billboards. Winning the subsequent lawsuit against Onitsuka solidified their independence. With financial constraints removed and their own product and brand, the company experienced explosive growth in the mid-1970s. They had successfully transitioned from importing another company's product to designing, manufacturing via outsourcing, and building their own brand centered around athletes and innovation, setting the stage for becoming a global powerhouse. This early DNA was defined by a fierce competitiveness, being on offense all the time. and a willingness to break the rules, fight the law, in pursuit of growth and survival.